The views on this program do not reflect those of ONTV or its board of directors. Welcome to Oaa Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Terramina.
Welcome to Oaa Now. Here I'm Sammy Terramina, blogger, the Dragons Insider, blogger of Inside the OAA, one of the hosts between Terraminas on Orion Neighborhood Television. I'd like to welcome our friends hearing us on the local voice on SoundCloud and also those watching on Orion Neighborhood Television as well.
Yeah.
We got Ian Locke here back.
Back, man. Enjoying summer. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. It's been a month.
Crazy. I can't believe it's been a month.
You know, the last time we did a show, there were 23 schools. Now we're down to 21.
That I still cannot get used to that.
Yeah.
And reminder, listeners, who has not flown the coop, but who is no longer with us.
Of course, Harrison no longer in the OAA.
Shut them down.
They were shut down.
Yep.
And then Hazel Park departing the OAA for the Macomb Area Conference. You know, of course, the MAC had their media day.
Oh, they did already?
They did have their media day already.
Interesting.
You know, and I know their Hazel Park coach Kyle Rowley said that his crew is excited to go in the MAC, but I think they're going to struggle in the MAC Silver this year.
Huh.
I think they will struggle in that division. How was your summer?
Summer's been okay. We've been very busy, bouncing around since June. I've missed a couple episodes, as you know. Been out, took a great trip over to Boston, did the historical walk down there. If you've never done that, do it. It's awesome. It's relatively inexpensive. You just walk around, see the sights. You don't have to pay a lot of money to see your country's history. It's awesome. And went camping, dude. Went up to Ludington. And I know you do some up north travels too.
Yeah, I went up to Caseville.
Caseville, love Caseville.
Beautiful city.
Awesome. And just for those you guys out there, the warnings on Lake Michigan, if you're traveling that way to the west side, do some camping, just visit friends, whatever, put your toe in the water in the big lake, watch out. It's as dangerous as they're saying it is. It's waves and things. I'm sure you see it up in Saginaw Bay.
Oh, of course.
Haven't seen anything like this ever.
Well,
The height of the water is at record levels,
Yep.
and the rip, especially on the big water, watch out, especially in the Ludington area and north up that side. So be safe out there, but enjoy the great outdoors and get out there and do something fun.
We've had a lot of interesting, since our month away, we've had a lot of
stuff is happening.
Of course, we had a girls basketball coaching hire, a boys basketball coaching hire, and a volleyball hire. Of course,
Yeah,
we're
just
going to
new.
talk volleyball in this segment here of our podcast.
So these are the positions we were kind of waiting on, correct?
Yes, these were most of the positions we were waiting on.
I mean, back in June, we're talking about this stuff, so it's finally happened.
Let's go to our first sport, which is going to be boys basketball. I want to talk about that one. Pontiac's got a new boys basketball coach. His name is Damon O'Neill, and of course he was a assistant coach under Robert Rogers and Joe Schroeder.
Okay.
He was previously the head coach at Waterford Kettering before he stepped down. It was last season. I mean, like 2 years ago, he stepped down from coaching at Waterford Kettering. Took a year off. Now is back in the coaching sidelines at Pontiac. Of course, O'Neill's been known for rebuilding programs. Of course, Pontiac, this is a team that is going to go through a rebuild. Of course, last season they won 22 games.
Amazing run.
But they had a lot of turnover. Of course, now Joe
Yeah.
Schroeder's no longer at Pontiac. He's not Lake Orion. And now you look at Damon O'Neill. The last time I saw O'Neill was he coached at Waterford Kettering.
Yeah.
And they played Clarkston.
Did end well.
And it did not end well. Only scored 7 points.
7.
7.
I can't. When you brought that up to me as a reminder, I'm like, how did I forget that? Or maybe we didn't talk about it because it was
It was rough.
so painful to talk about.
And that was the year Clarkston won their and that was the first year Clarkston won their first state title.
Yeah.
That was that district final.
Okay.
Wow. And when you look at this hire, I mean, I'm not excited for this hire. I'm not that excited for this one. And people, he's a local guy. He's got local ties. I mean, like, and all that. But, this is a team that is in some trouble.
Yeah.
Here's why. Pontiac, yes, they're going to be in the blue this year. They're going to be in the blue, having the but you got Rochester, who I think is better than Pontiac is right now on paper. Troy Athens, I think, is better than them on paper. And I know Berkeley's better than my paper. And then if they can get through that division, then your district is absolutely brutal. Because you got Waterford, because they went up from Division 2 to Division 1. And they're in a district with Waterford Mott, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, West Bloomfield, and Bloomfield Hills.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not mentioning Avondale, but those 4 teams in that district is scary.
Yes. Brutal. But do you think the expectations are district champion? I mean, you just said it. They're losing how many guys again?
They lost 10 guys, and they lost their head coach.
10 guys. I mean, that's a whole roster in some instances,
It's hard.
right? So you're rebuilding everybody from ground up. Like you said, either bringing him in. He's kind of a rebuilding artist. He's done it before, rebuilding programs. So it's more of a get him up and running. Let's get it back.
Time out.
Back to competition.
Time out. Here's the Waterford Kettering and Pontiac are 2 different teams. Waterford Kettering is still a mess. Pontiac, they're basically rebuilding from ground up.
Yes.
I think Pontiac's got more. I think there's more patience at Pontiac than there is at Waterford Kettering.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because there is lower expectations. You were right there on that.
That's what I'm getting at, is that they're not expecting a district title in Pontiac.
But do I trust O'Neill to coach his team? He's a good guy. But I don't know. I don't know.
Coach him to a district champion.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but look at Waterford Kettering's run to a district championship. They didn't even have to play anybody. They were in the district final.
Yeah. Well, isn't that, as I recall, what do we have? Forfeit?
Yeah, we had a forfeit.
Forfeit, and so you roll in there.
But
that happens. I mean, that's not something that the coach planned on or the school planned on. That's just kind of how it happened.
On this hire, I'm a little cautious. You know what I mean? I'm a little cautious.
Okay.
Because this team's going to struggle. They're going to really struggle. And if he can't get that program,
you just got to get stable.
You got to get stable.
Right? I mean, such success a year ago. But just like anybody else, and all the basketball coaches, we know this. Year in, year out, doesn't matter what level you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a personnel turnover on that level.
But we know O'Neill's is going to be a lot different from Joe Schroeder.
Yes.
Of course. So I'm curious to see if O'Neill's going to keep some of the same principles that Schroeder did.
Yeah.
That made Pontiac successful. Because if he just blows that team up, then I think that team's in some trouble.
Well, that goes with all coaching changes. We've talked about this for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
That anytime you have a new coach in, are they bringing in a new philosophy? What's the game plan? Are they blowing it up, or are they going to work with what they have? Usually coaches are pretty flexible and they work with what they have. What are your assets? And then they can mold their program around or their system around the strengths that they have coming in. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And Pontiac's a rising. Pontiac just got an enrollment increase.
Yes, which is great.
Mm-hmm. They just
Good
got
for
an
them.
enrollment increase.
Yes.
That's
how they got bumped up to D1,
Division 1,
right?
Yeah. I mean, but still, that's brutal.
You still got to get the kids to come out and,
and
commit,
mm-hmm.
right?
Let's go from boys basketball. Let's go to girls basketball now. Ferndale named the new girls basketball coach, taking over their team. They named Keith Paris as the new head coach, replacing Laura Hoffner. Paris he brings a wealth of knowledge to the basketball program. I mean, he was an assistant last year under Laura Hoffner, but now it's going to be his opportunity to take over the team to stand in house. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So when I look at Ferndale, and And CNG Sports did a really nice article on this. This guy, I mean, he graduated from Detroit Finney, now known as East English Village Preps. He was set to play baseball at Oakland, and he earned a spot as a walk-on for Coach Greg Campy. However, injuries. He had a knee injury during basketball season, during pickup basketball.
Oh no!
Cost him a scholarship.
We've seen that before. That's tough.
And then he injured his knee in the last game of the year at Macomb Community College. Oh no, his last game of the year at Macomb Community College. So he was an assistant last year, as mentioned, and he is now the lead guy at Ferndale for their girls basketball program. Ferndale has had some struggles. This team used to be a very good program, but they've fallen on some hard times where there's been years they've had just one varsity team. Last season, Ferndale went 4-5 in the Blue Division. Now, that team has not had stability in the coaching ranks. This is going to be their fourth coach in 4 years over there.
Which we talked about
this.
You can't build anything doing that.
No.
If you can't keep them around, that's so difficult. It's discouraging not only to the players, but anybody else coming up in the ranks going, if you can't keep them, why go out?
Yeah. And you look at the Ferndale girls basketball team, I mean, they are in an interesting spot because, yes, this team has struggled. They struggled. But when you bring a guy with a ton of basketball knowledge like Keith Paris, I think this is going to work out, but he's got to stay there long term for this to work out. Now, he said he's going to recruit the school. He's going to recruit players to play.
Yeah.
Of course, Ferndale's had a lot of success in other sports. You look at, of course, the football program. You look at the boys basketball program, and then you look at the baseball program, and then girls sports, volleyball. We're going to talk volleyball in a couple minutes because I think Ferndale volleyball is going to be very good this year under Stella Johnston. And then you look at their softball team a year ago. Ferndale only loses one senior.
Wow.
And the majority of that team is back from a district championship team that's going to go up from here. I wrote a column on Ferndale saying they're a rising giant. And they are. But the girls basketball program has to be fixed. And I think that Ferndale Athletic Director Sean Butler sees that. And, when you make this type of change, when you bring in a new staff, you expect that change to happen right away. But, it's a challenge considering Ferndale's the smallest school in the OA.
Yeah.
So
numbers are tough.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the idea of, if he's there, the assistant did a nice job. They know the system. It's less, what do you call it? Turmoil for the team.
Readiness, yeah.
Right? So the system maybe he makes his own tweaks. Obviously, he's the head coach now. He can make his adjustments to it. But I'd be shocked if they blow that up and change the way they do things. With the players that are coming back, they're familiar with the new coach. It still feels like home in a way. So I think it's okay.
I know his goal is he wants to win a district title. Ferndale's got a shot to win a district championship this year with this girls basketball program.
Really?
They got a shot. I mean, the district's not as strong as people give it credit for.
Okay.
I mean, when you look at the district Ferndale is in, they have. I'm gonna pull it up here. But the blue division this year Ferndale is going to be a challenge. And I think that especially because when you look at Rochester in there, you look at Berkeley's in there. It's going to be really, really interesting. And then when you get into and then you have Seaholm, who's a team that I think should be better under Chris Manchester. The district Ferndale's in, they have Detroit Cody, Detroit Cornerstone, Detroit Communication Media Arts, and Detroit Old Redford. It's not necessarily, chops liver, but but it's manageable for them.
Yes.
It's very manageable.
I don't see any perennial power in that list.
No, there isn't. But there are some good teams in there. You got Detroit Communication Media Arts, and you have Detroit Old Redford. Those are the two teams I think is going to give Ferndale the most problems. So when I look at the hire of Paris, I think that he's going to get that program. If he can get that program turned around, like in volleyball last year, nobody thought Ferndale would go and win a district title. Nobody. Or in softball, for what they did last year, nobody thought Ferndale would go and win a district title in softball, but they did.
Yep.
So I'm thinking Butler's going to count on here is Paris pulling the same results that Stella Johnson did in volleyball, and what Coach Pack McNally did in softball. So that's what I'm thinking here with this hire.
So high expectations. Different than Pontiac.
It's different than Pontiac because of but when I look at the division they're in, the blue division, I don't think they're going to knock Rochester off. I don't think they're going to knock Berkeley off, and I don't think they're going to knock Seaholm off. So Ferndale right now, I would say probably middle of the pack in the blue this year. But they can win a district title. That's how I'm viewing it with Ferndale. It's girls basketball program.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
That's fair enough there. Okay, now let's go from girls basketball. Let's go to volleyball.
Season's coming up
soon. And there is a new coach at Adams we got to talk about. And it's a familiar person. We covered Wall Lake Northern last year in the regional semifinal against Stony Creek. Of course, I called that with Joey Tysick.
Yep.
It was a match, and the coach was Terry Bogman. And he coached at Wall Lake Northern.
Good team.
They were a good team. And now he is the new head coach at Rochester Adams.
Dun, dun, dun. Should we? I guess we should.
Everybody
should get a...
Everybody should.
Breaking news.
That's a bit...
That's huge news, to be
It's
honest.
huge news. This is huge news because...
the red just got...
It just got tougher. It just got tougher.
If that's possible.
When you look at Bogman's hire, this is a game changer because of what he brings.
Oh, yeah.
He led Wall Lake Northern to a district title. And now you bring him into the red. When you look at...
look at the coaches.
Look at the coaches and look at the programs in there. You got the defending state champions in there in Lake Orion. You got the Stony Creek Cougars in there. You got the Clarkson Wolves in there.
Yeah.
You got the Troy Colts in there.
Yeah.
And now you have Adams. And that's not even counting Groves, West Bloomfield, or
all
Oxford.
All solid.
They're all gonna be solid when you look at it. But when you look at Adams was very young a year ago. They were young. They got a ton of talent back they got a ton of talent back. When you look at players like Alexis Wojas, Laura Sebastian, Kenny Jones, Audrey Thredford, Jacoby Flynn, Emmanuel Jakaj, Maxine Coes, Amber Morris, Ray Mafra, and Maddie Klompback. That's a ton of talent returning for that team. This is a home run hire that athletic director Jason Rapp made.
Completely agree.
It would not surprise me. The city championship this year in Rochester, it's going to be tight between Adams and Stony Creek.
That's going to be a good game.
Stony Creek is loaded as well. When you look at what Coach Ross Talbot has back, Stony Creek could be a state championship team, in my opinion. They could be. But the red division. Oh, are you serious?
I know. you kind of laugh at it because you're like, compare the red, OA Red in volleyball to any other league in this state.
This
Is
is
there
our
anything comparable top to bottom?
no. And I know there's gonna be people in the Ottawa Kent Conference or
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the Catholic League are gonna debate with me on this, but the red is gonna be a nightmare. It's gonna be just brutal. You look at the teams in that
I mean,
division
as a conference,
as
top to
a
bottom.
conference, as a division in that conference.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying the white is not the white. When I look at the other divisions in the MOA, of course, the blue. I mean, they went to an 8.85 this year.
Yes.
The white, you had you had Bloomfield, you had two teams go down, in Bloomfield Hills and Seaholm. Those two teams are expected to battle for
Yes.
the white title this year. The blue division, they've went through a lot of changes.
But if you're looking at the red
But you look at the red, yeah.
from top to bottom, put that up against anybody in this state. I mean, the quality, the depth, the experience, the competitiveness. I can't see a conference that is that deep.
No.
Or not. I keep saying conference.
A league, a division.
The division in the conference that deep.
There is, when you look
It's
at,
almost like anybody could beat anybody on any night.
oh yes,
And it's happened. We've seen it.
oh yes, we've seen it. But when you have teams, the teams in that division,
Yes, and you add
and now you add Terry Bog and the coaches in that division.
yes.
You look at, of course, Terry Bogman now at Adams. You look at Ross Talbot at Stony Creek, Kelly Penner at Clarkston,
I know.
Tony Scavarda at Lake Orion.
Yes.
I mean, then you have Brian Kim at Oxford. I mean, West Bloomfield and Groves made the move up to the red division this year, and of course Groves last year. This is a team that, I don't know, it was West Bloomfield last year that ended up not losing a league matchup, but now they're in the red. They're loaded.
Yes.
You look at players like Laura King, Grace Allward, and Delaney Lambert. Lauren DeLuck Forbes, her coach over there, got a good shot, but I think she's going to have some growing pains in the red division, but it's going to help her in the district because West Bloomfield in their district, they have all three Walled Lakes and Lakeland and Milford in there. All three of them.
Tough draw.
Not
you don't think
necessarily
so?
with the Bogman departure. I really think.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm not real high
I just hear
on-
those names and you're going, okay, good athletic departments always have solid teams across the board.
But when you look at West Bloomfield, I think the Lakers,
You think they can
they
take
can
it?
win that district. They can win that district. And all those teams have to go to West Bloomfield. Because that's
Always
where the
a bonus,
district's at.
yeah.
That's always a bonus when you're playing
Playing
on
your home court?
on
Yeah.
your home court. That's always a bonus. In Groves' case, they have a very good all-star player in Ellie Rupert going to South Carolina for volleyball.
Wow.
Yep. She also plays girls basketball as well and very still in lacrosse for Birmingham United. But when I look at Groves, they've got some questions. I mean, yeah, they got experience, but it really fits the same thing with Groves and West Bloomfield. How are they going to adjust playing in the red? That's the big question that I see. Is how is Groves and West Bloomfield going to adjust playing in the red? Because when you play in the red division, there are no nights off.
No.
And you're playing against top-notch competition. It would not surprise me if you look at, in the red division, half of the state rankings are going to be ranked in the red. When you look at Stony Creek, Clarkston.
They do top 10 or top 25?
Top 10. You're going to have Clarkston, Stony Creek, Lake Orion, and Troy. Those are, I think, those teams are absolutely loaded. And now you bring in Adams. You bring in Terry Bogman in that mix.
You're getting me, Sammy. You're getting me excited about volleyball season. I'm excited about it anyway because of the quality, like you said, and we're gonna be out there. Owen TV's cameras will be out there recording these things, and they'll be on the air. But I'm more excited in just following
This is
the
going
red
to
division
be,
just to see what the heck's going on.
the red is going to be vicious this year.
Yeah.
Vicious. And that's not counting the other two divisions. You know, I talked earlier in the white, you know, you got
Yeah.
Seaholm and Bloomfield Hills like to battle it out in the white division. North Farmington's a team we got to keep an eye on as well because they got a new coach in Michael Love taking over that team. The blue division, this is where I think Ferndale's going to win that. Mark my words. I think Ferndale this year is winning the blue division in volleyball.
Ooh, he's calling it.
Mark my words.
He's calling it.
Because this Eagles team is loaded for now and for the future. There is a proven product at Ferndale that Coach Stella Johnstone has done a magnificent job at getting that team together and winning that district title at Hazel Park a year ago. Says a lot, and I think it's gonna set the stone for Ferndale volleyball.
Mm. And
when I look at the blue division, you know, you got Pontiac who's going to struggle. Oak Park's going to struggle. Royal just got a new coaching staff and Sierra Schultz taking over that team. And then you look at Southfield Arts and Tech will be very interesting. Southfield A&T is going to be very because they got the majority of that team back. But there's some questions surrounding Southfield A&T for Coach Alicia Love and her team. They'll probably be Ferndale's toughest challenger. And I think that division will come down between Ferndale and Southfield.
Mm.
But I just think Ferndale has enough.
They're gonna get it done.
I think they'll get it done. So that's going to be really interesting there. My top 10 is out for girls volleyball.
Oh.
So.
Okay. 10. Who we have?
I got the Ferndale Eagles 10. As we mentioned, I'm high on them. High expectations. This team's going to be very, very good. I think that they're gonna don't sleep on the Ferndale Eagles. I know they're one of the I know they're in Division 2, but don't sleep on Stella Johnstone's team. Don't sleep on them. Number 9, I got the Seaholm Maples. Seaholm's a team that they got a lot of experience back for Coach Heather Gambone. Still used to calling her Heather Lippert, but the Gambone family's done a magnificent job building that team. They have done a wonderful job, and they have a player that I'm watching very carefully, and Maddie Ligon. That's a name Seaholm fans should watch out for. She is that talented. Now, and she's got an experienced team back. They only lost 2 seniors a year ago. So, and I think moving down is going to help Seaholm this year. Moving down is going to help this team. Number 8, West Bloomfield. They're loaded. They got Laura K. I mentioned West Bloomfield earlier. Going up to the always fun division. That's the red. And having a deal. And as mentioned, you got to be loaded. And the West Bloomfield is when you look at players like Laura King, Grace Allred, and Delaney Lambert. Now, the rest of that team's going to be a question mark because they lost some talent a year ago. So, but their 3 main players are back, which helps a lot. They're going to have to be relied on if West Bloomfield is going to do some things. I don't know how they're going to do in the red. They'll probably be middle of the pack. But that district we talked about earlier, they got a great shot winning that district. Number 7, I got the Groves Falcons. Groves, same thing as West Bloomfield. A lot of experience back. You have a superstar Nellie Rupert. Will Rupert's supporting cast stepped their game up for second-year coach Jessica Profek. I think that's going to be the key for Groves is they're going to have to really find a way to manage in this division because they got a brutal district. Because when you have a district that has Birmingham Marion in there, Seom in there, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Number 6, Bloomfield Hills.
Okay.
Alexa Rousseau, one of the favorites in the white. Could have a very tough task when they get the districts, probably dealing with Troy. Number 5, Adams. We talked about Terry Bogman.
You got him all the way up there, eh?
Uh-huh. That is how high I am on this team. That's how high on them. Number 4, I got the Troy Colts. Tom Vigilant's team loaded. Got Fran McBride back. I mean, like, they've got others back. Of course, losing Jessica Robinson to graduation hurts. Of course, she's now at Michigan. But when you have players like Fran McBride, Alexa Morris, Julia Armstrong, and Athena Sampson, that says a lot. Number 3, I got the Lake Orion Dragons.
Ooh.
Defending state champs. They lost a ton.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Lost a ton.
I was going to say some key members of that team, but it is a ton.
But you have players like Sydney Smith, Reagan Gronke, Kendall Robertson all back. I mean, that should help.
Some role players even graduated.
But when I look at that team a year ago, there were some talented players that rode the bench.
Yes.
And they're going to get that opportunity to step up now. There's a couple girls I'm high on for Coach Trinity Scavardo's team. Not going to name names, but I'm high on. But Lake Orion right now, 3 is a pretty good spot. And actually, 3 was the same spot I had them at last year when they won the state title.
Yeah.
They
were on a mission last year, man. It's right out of the gate.
I'm going to be honest with you,
fire.
and I said this on the last podcast. This was a team that came out of nowhere and won a state title.
Yeah.
They came out of nowhere. They took Clarkson down, had a knockoff Troy and Stony Creek, and then of course they went and beat Flushing at Fenton, and then of course the big one was when they knocked off Farmington's Mercy in the semifinal.
Yeah.
And then they knocked off Rockford.
I mean, 2 crazy good teams, programs, and earned every ounce of that trophy that they pulled in.
But Lake Orion's going to struggle early. I think they're going to struggle early.
Yeah,
but
you have to find your new identity.
Yeah, but then when they get there, when they get that new identity, and they figure things out, I think this team could be a surprise.
I think, too, though, is that team, like a lot of these elite volleyball teams we're talking about in the red, and even white and blue for that matter, is that these girls play together all the time.
They do.
And it's going on right now. I mean, the summer leagues, it's like AAUs.
And Lake Orion just won at Michigan State.
Did they?
They won at Michigan State.
So they're gearing up. I mean,
they're gearing up.
As soon as graduation hit, they were gearing up for this next season.
And this is going to be, I think Lake Orion's a sleeper. I really do.
I'm curious to see. We've had so many names, like freshmen that came in 4 years ago that were varsity and such contributors on that team all 4 years. You get used to all these names, and all of a sudden they're gone. Trying to go, okay, who do we have next? Who's stepping in? Who is the next new youngster that's going to make some noise?
This current freshman, this current senior class over at Clarkston went undefeated as freshmen.
See? I mean,
they're my number 2 team is Clarkson Wolves. This team's loaded.
Another team, yeah.
This team is loaded. I mean, senior experience, they got a lot of that. Yeah. And they have a very good junior in Claire Nowicki back. You look at players like Abby Tolmine, Allie Warrington, Hannah Katie, Jordan Newblatt. I mean, this is now or never for Clarkston. Because you just saw your arch rival win a state title. And now, I think there's some pressure on Clarkston here. I think there's some pressure. Because when you look at what Lake Orion did a year ago, Clarkston, a lot of people look at Lake Orion and Clarkston, virtually the same. But when you look at the Wolves, they've been here before, but they just have not gotten it done in the postseason. You know what I mean? Whether they've moved on past districts, or but they've not gotten it done. So
It's something about the culture, the sports culture over in Clarkston. I mean, you got state titles coming out of all angles, it seems, over there.
on football and on boys basketball,
Cross country, or challenging for them anyway. They've been living pretty high on the hog there on the state level across the way. That athletic department, man.
But the volleyball program, they've been
haven't gotten over that hump.
Well, of course, they got the state semifinal in 2011.
Okay.
Of course, who knocked them out that year?
Yes.
And then
but it's one of those. It's just, and you can't guarantee anything. I mean, you know that.
No.
I mean, and a lot of it is luck and the lineups and injuries at the wrong or right times. Would you say Lake Orion's team was the most talented it had over the last 3 years?
Right.
That won it. I would say probably not. But they've had injury, so that even
Lake Orion's had a lot of injuries that have derailed their season.
Yeah, and at the worst times at the end of the season. But with Clarkston, it's like, are they close? Are they in the cusp of actually pushing?
That's going to be the key this year for Penner's team. That's going to be the key this year. Is can Clarkston, put it all together?
Because sometimes they look like they are.
This is the same senior class that were freshmen that went undefeated. Now. I don't want to say it's put up or shut up time.
Yeah, no.
But
there's too many variables, and the competition is so good.
Right, and the competition's so good because the Red, we know that league is vicious. And then my number one team, of course, is Stony Creek Cougars.
Really? Sammy.
I like this Cougar team that they have.
Should I throw one of these in?
Yep. Here's why. Stony Creek's loaded. Because you look at that team, you look at players like Kay Strayton, Ainsley Goose, Sydney Tomlick, all of them are back. They still got to replace some talent, but I like what Coach Ross Talbot has his team going. Now, yes, when they get in the postseason, they're going to have to deal with teams like Adams, Utica Eisenhower, Romeo, Romeo and Utica Eisenhower are sleeping giants to watch. And that district's at Rochester. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, that's not too bad for them.
No, not too bad, but still, I think it's going to be a very tough chore. You know what I mean?
Tough chore, but I'm saying location,
it's only not a far drive.
No, I would say comfortable confines, but I'd say familiar.
Yes, familiar confines. But when you look at Stony Creek, this volleyball program, this program has been going on the upward swing.
Mm-hmm.
When Ross Talbot took over that team, this team's been going up, and they've been continuing going up. I'm very high on the Stony Creek team. Are they a state championship caliber team? Absolutely. I think they could be. But, you still got, when you look at teams around the state that could be really dangerous this year, you got, obviously, Farm Hills Mercy has to be the favorite. And the reason why.
You're in and you're out.
But this year's team.
So good.
This year's team may be one of the best they've had in years. And when you look at Farm Hills Mercy, when you look at players like Julia Bishop, Ellie Tesco, for Coach Loretta Vogel, that's going to say a lot to where. And the Marlins in the last 2 years have had disappointing playoff exits in the district semifinals. And on the state semifinals. 2 years ago, they lost to Birmingham Marion. Last season, we know about the Lake Orion. We know what happened against Lake Orion.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at the Marlins, people have asked me, this could be the Marlins' best team they've had in years. Now, people in Birmingham Marion might disagree with that, but I'm just being honest with you. I think, if the state title right now, the favorite has to be Farm Hills Mercy. But you got teams like Stony Creek, you got teams like Clarkston, Lake Orion,
on this side of
the state. And then on the other side, of course, you got Rockford, of course. The west side of the state, besides Rockford, I mean, Portage Central is always okay in the west side, but until you get by Rockford, I don't know if there's any true team in the west side state that could give that could give them any trouble.
Yeah.
So those are my.
That gonna be fun.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait for it, man.
yeah. I mean, like I've always enjoyed calling those games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I know we're gonna try to have more games on than we have in the past. Uh, Potentially more road games too. I know. I'm actually meeting up today to try to figure out the schedule, see what games will be on in the OAA. Besides just Lake Orion,
Yeah.
because it's coming,
Oh, I know it's coming.
and I'm excited. I just start of the season, I've been itching for some sports. I know we got
We're only a month away.
I
We got
know.
football. It's gonna be very interesting.
Media
got-
Day's coming up.
Media Day's coming up in a couple weeks. We're gonna be there. I'll be there, of course.
On TV cameras will be there as
Yep.
well. Sammy,
Yep.
what is this 5th year?
Yeah, I think it's the fifth
At least
year.
the 5th year you've hosted the Media Day special.
Yeah.
Wow.
For football, you know what I mean?
Man, the time is flying.
I know. I mean, we're getting real close to the start of the school year.
Yeah.
Let's look at some positives. Positives, of course. The Oakland Press wrote a news article about Pontiac football
Really?
involving the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Their touchdown for a town drive gave the Pontiac Phoenix $10,000 donation.
Oh wow.
And new football helmets.
Awesome.
So Pontiac's got new football helmets this year. And
some new gear.
new gear, new equipment going in there.
That's awesome. Getting the new gear always good for safety,
Oh yeah, always good for
and
safety.
it
Of
kind
course,
of makes you walk a little taller. You got some new
Pontiac's
gear.
had some recent upgrades. Of
Yeah.
course, we talked recently about the Pontiac Phoenix.
Yep.
With their upgrades. We talked a lot of Pontiac in the last couple of months. You know what I mean? Considering what's been going on surrounding their athletic programs.
Yeah.
But this is a positive for the Phoenix. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Especially when you when this has been a town that's really struggled, really you know, they've really struggled. Of course, we mentioned about the football program's record, 5-48 since
Yeah,
2011. That I'll bet you that could be mentioned at Media Day.
Yeah.
Um,
The turnover in coaches.
turnover in coaches, of course.
their
The
questionable decision making among administrators.
yeah, but when you look at Pontiac, this was a bright thing for the Phoenix. You know, bright.
Yes. Good
And
news.
Athletic Director Lee Montgomery said that day was a victory for Pontiac, and it truly was a victory for Pontiac that they got this new stuff, new equipment, and now they just got to fix some things on the football side of things. Of course, we'll see what happens with that program.
Yeah. And I know the one thing about Pontiac is you've got all the other schools in the OAA rooting for them.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime a member school is down a bit, it's a nice community of schools and ADs and coaches, and don't you think? I mean, it's an interesting dynamic. I watching at Media Day the way the coaches, they get along. They seem like they get along.
They
and
do get along,
and they're always,
and it's basically they
especially the
always
young,
root for everybody in the league.
exactly.
They root for everybody in
correct.
the league. You know what I mean? And I love what Coach Brendan Flaherty said a year ago. You know what I mean, at Media Day when he said about the the OA, the league. It's one of the toughest leagues in the state.
Yes.
Even West Bloomfield coach Ron Bellamy said the OA is one of the toughest leagues in the
Yes.
state. I mean, and I agree with him. The OA is one of the toughest leagues in the
Yes.
state of Michigan to win. Of course, the OA's had a lot of success.
Mhm.
When you look at in football, when you look at Clarkson, of course, getting to the state final. You look at West Bloomfield, they
yeah.
got there. I mean, we know that Oxford's been there. We know Lake Orion's been there.
Yes.
We know that Adams has been there. We know
Harrison.
that Harrison's been there. I mean, all these teams that have a ton of experience, and I forgot to mention Troy. They've
Yes.
been there. I mean, but this league in football is very, very talented.
Yeah.
And
But it's not just the overall wins and losses. It's the culture and the community aspect of the OAA
mhm.
with these teams. We hear at Media Day the new coaches, the youngins coming in up the ranks that got their first head coaching job, talking about reaching out to the veteran coaches for advice or Can you come take a look at this or that? And they're willing to work with one another because they know when one succeeds, they all succeed, right?
I agree with you.
And bringing everybody along, having working together for the common goal, get these kids playing, competing, and it's just a lot of fun. And
That's the common goal.
it's just amazing how unified they seem to be.
This whole league has been unified,
Yeah.
when you look at it. And I'm curious to see what happens at Media Day, you know what I mean, this season.
Some new faces.
New faces going to be there, of course. There's some new coaches. I know at North Farmington, Pontiac, Avondale's got a new coach there as well. But
and Harrison and
Harrison.
Just a whole new look OAA, man.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens,
Yeah.
I've been working on my blog, you know what I mean, for been working on my football blog. I'm at 25 pages,
Oh, man.
and that's without quotes and interview comments yet.
Wow.
So
if you guys don't know, Sammy, how many hours do you put in on this thing?
I put in a lot of hours.
A lot of hours.
I do a lot of research.
Yes.
I do a lot of them.
And if you don't know, we work together not only on this program, but we work together on the Media Day special,
right?
Which is a video. It's 3 1-hour videos, I think, or
1-hour
roughly
videos,
45 minutes, and it's an overview of the whole rundown of the schedules to
team breakdowns.
Team breakdowns, key players, interviews with the coaches at Media Day. Trying to add some highlights in so you can get an idea of what they look like or that sort of thing, which can be difficult when some teams aren't covered, by the media.
Right.
But it's a really good beginning to a season. Sit down, watch that thing, and you get a really good handle of what each division's looking like. You have your favorites that you like, right?
Well, yeah, there's some of my favorites, but also, you got to be honest where you're projected to be at.
But that's what I like about it, Sam. It's like you don't mince words. It's like and the coaches, I think, appreciate that. You can see it on their faces when you go interview them at these media days. You're welcome to go, hey, dude, what's up with your defense? Giving up X amount of points, and they laugh, and they're going, yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of media guys running around confronting, but asking that tough question of these coaches, and I think they appreciate it.
And I think that's going to be the thing when you look at this year. I mean, when you look at Media Day, if you gotta know your stuff. You gotta know you gotta know what your expectations are. You gotta know your history.
Correct.
Your history with these teams, you gotta know that. And for me, it's basically you gotta know them. Because that could either be the start of something special,
yes,
or something that goes to disaster.
Yes. And I know one thing: if I was one of those coaches and I had a disaster, seeing you coming at me with a camera and a light on and a microphone going, what happened? My knees would be shaking.
Yeah. Because
it's awesome, Sam. I'm telling you. And I'm talking you up, dude, because you deserve it. And I want to thank you for what you do. Anybody listening at home, this is all volunteer. He does this because he loves it. Right? There's no check coming his way.
No.
But it's the love of the games, the
passion.
It's beyond.
And check out my blog too, Sammy.
Yes, go ahead.
You check out my blog at SammySimacone@blogspot.com. We have the updates. Of course, I have my sources. You know what I mean? That help out a lot.
And he's got. You wouldn't believe the contacts he has, and it's legit. And so tune in, check out his stuff because it's a passion, and I hope you guys are consuming this stuff. We know you have regulars.
Yeah.
People tuning into the blog. The podcast is gaining. It's one of the top listened to things we have on our SoundCloud, on ON TV.
Beautiful.
And it's a great resource if you've never really gotten into high school sports in the OAA, you're new to it, your son or daughter is just competing in high school or something like that, and you want to know what the heck's going on.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you do. You tune into the OAA.
I'm open to ask. I'm open if anybody wants to ask me a question regarding the OAA this year.
Yes.
Feel free to ask me. Of course, I have a Twitter account and I have an email account if you need to get to me. I've had several people do that.
Okay. What's your Twitter handle?
Saginaw Bay is my Twitter feed.
Yep.
My email, samsdragons@yahoo.com. If you want any questions surrounding the upcoming season. So we got a lot.
We're always looking for people who are passionate like this that don't want to sit in front of a microphone like we do once a week and actually present this sort of thing. But if you want to share information with Sam, you want to get a hold of ONTV and say, hey, how can I be a contributor, sending in scores? We'd love to have updates on scores for some of the teams in the OA that we don't get a lot of coverage on. Let's say tennis or golf.
We like to get coverage.
Yeah, and we love to give the shout-outs to these kids who are working their tails off and finding success. We want to get that out there to share that success with the communities, right?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to a very good 2019 coming up this upcoming season. Next week, of course, I will have some guests coming on next week. We're going to talk their basketball teams coming in, heading into the year. So we got some guests coming in next week. So
that's the first guest in a while we've had, hey?
Yes. So stay tuned to Oaa Now for next week. I'm going to sign off here this week. For Ian Locke, this is Sammy Termina signing off here. Take care and see y'all next week, everybody.
See you, Sam. Reach out to ONTV if you're interested in doing a podcast like Oaa Now. Classes are now enrolling, 248-393-1060. Be sure to check the podcast and all the other programming here at ONTV at SoundCloud.com. Search Orion on TV or head over to our webpage at orionontv.org. Easy, quick clicks and buttons to get you to wherever you need to go to watch shows just like Oaa Now all season long. That's it for this edition of Oaa Now. All the views on this show are Sammy's and his alone. We'll see you next week on Oaa Now. See ya.